Suman, you would like to go first?
Yes, if Mansi wish to, then it's okay. Otherwise, I'll do. Mansi, you want or I should go on?
No, no, you start. I can join in later. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yes. Chapter 11, Building a Team. Every great design was made great because there was a design team that brought that project, product, or building to life. Designers believe in radical collaboration because true genius is a collaborative process. We design our lives in collaboration and connection with others because we is always stronger than I. It's as simple as that. Dysfunctional belief, it is my life, I have to design it myself. Yeah, scroll please. Reframe, you live and design your life in collaboration with others. When you design your life, you are engaging in an act of co creation. When you use design thinking, the mindset is completely different from career development or strategic planning or even life coaching. One key difference is the role of community. If you are the sole architect of your brilliant future, then you think the whole thing up and you heroically bring it into being. It is all about you. Life design is about your life, but it is not all about you. It is all about us. When we say we can't do this alone, we don't just mean that we would like to do it ourselves, but we are insufficient. So we have to go get some helpers. What we mean is that life design is intrinsically a communal effort. When you are wayfinding a step or two at a time to build, not solve, your way forward, the process has to rely on the contribution and participation of others. The ideas and opportunities you design are not just presented to you or fetched for you by others on your behalf, they are co created with you in collaboration with the whole community of players you engage with in life. Whether they think of it this way or not, all the people you meet, engage, prototype, or converse with along the way are in your design community. A few particularly important people will become your core collaborators and play a crucial and ongoing part in your life design. But everyone matters. Everyone. Co-creation is an integral aspect of a design point of view, and it is a key reason that design thinking works. Your life design isn't in you, it is in the world where you will discover and co-create it with others. The ideas and possibilities and roles and forms that you will end up living do not actually exist anywhere in the universe right now. As you are reading this, they are all waiting to be invented. And the raw material to invent them is found out in the world. And most important, lying in wait in the hearts and minds and actions of others, many of whom you have not met yet. A big reason so many traditional approaches to doing this sort of work are unsuccessful is that they are based on the false perception that you and you alone know the answers, you have the resources, and you know the right passion to follow in order to have it all. You know the kind of thinking we are talking about here. The kind that says you should set some good goals and go get it. It sounds like the locker room at halftime. Get out there, you can do it. We say that's nuts. Think about Alan, Janine, and Donald from our introduction. They had goals. Janine and Donald had accomplished many of their goals and quite successfully, but both of them were lost in their own ways, wondering why they were not happy with their choices, wondering which direction to go next, and not knowing how to make the actual living of their lives matter in a way that made sense. And all three of them believed they had to figure it out all alone. They were not designing their lives, and they were not using a team. If you find yourself standing alone in front of the mirror trying to solve or figure out your life, waiting to make a move until you are clear about the correct answers, you are going to be waiting a long time. Look away from the mirror and look at the people around you. If you have been doing the work and the exercises suggested throughout this book, you have already engaged lots of people, many of whom you just met. You talk to others honestly about your current situation, your values, your work view, and life view. You have identified groups and individuals who are part of your energy producing activities in your good time journal. You probably had some helpers for ideating or getting feedback on your alternative life plans. People appear in every single one of your prototypes as collaborators, participants, and informers. You may not have thought of all these people as being a part of your team. You may have just thought of them as the people who were there when you were doing or trying stuff. That would be missing the point. They are part of your team. Identifying your team. Everyone participating in your life design effort in one way or another should be thought of as being a part of your team. But there are different roles to be played, and it is useful to name them. And yes, of course, certain individuals will appear in more than one of these roles. Supporters. Supporters come in all flavors, ages, proximities, and sizes. Supporters are just those go to people you can count on to care about your life, people close enough to you that their encouragement helps keep you going and their feedback is of real use. Most of your supporters are people you think of as your friends, but not all friends are supporters, and some supporters are not friends. They are there for you in your life design, but you don't hang out with them. How many supporters you have is largely a result of your personality. This group may range from 2 or 3 to 50 or even 100. Next is players. Players are the active participants in your life design projects, especially your ongoing work related and avocational projects and prototypes. These are the people you actually do things with, your co workers in the classic sense. Third is intimates. Intimates includes your immediate and close extended family members and your closest friends. These are likely the people most directly affected by your life design and whether or not they are actively involved with your life design project. They are the most influential people in it. We encourage you to at least to keep your intimates informed, if not directly involved in your life design work. These people are a big part of your life, so don't leave them out. What role to have them play in your ideation, planning, and prototyping can be tricky. Some of them may be too close. Some of them may have a preference for a certain result so well established that they can't be objective. And of course, some of them are the best helpers you could possibly ask for. All we are saying is that you recognize how important these people are and figure out an effective and appropriate role for them. Do try to avoid the mistake of leaving them completely out of it until the end. That seldom works out well for a lot of reasons you can probably imagine. Surprising your wife with the fact that you are prototyping living off the grid for the next year is not going to land well. Next is the team. These are the people with whom you are sharing the specifics of your life design project and who will track with you on the project over time at regular intervals. The most likely candidates for your team are among the people you invited to your feedback session to present and discuss your three alternative 5-year Odyssey plans. You need a group of people to walk alongside you as you are doing your life design. They don't have to be your best friends. They just need to be willing to show up for you, to be helpfully attentive and reflective with you, and to respect and care about the process, but not full of answers and advice. You know the kind of folks we mean. Their faces are already coming to mind. A healthy team is more than two people and not more than six, including you. Optimally, your team would be 3 to 5 people. Just one person can be a great partner or an accountability buddy, but two people make a pair, not a team. In a pair, there is always one speaker and one listener. 100% of the response to what just has been said is on the shoulders of the other person. A pair does not create enough diversity of opinion for the kind of collaboration you need. When there are three people in the circle, a much more active dynamic is at play, and a truly wide ranging conversation can ensue. That process continues up to maybe even 6 people, and then it starts to shift again. Beyond 6 people, there is limited airtime for each participant. Who speaks next become an issue. Since everyone's time is limited and we hear less from each person, roles start to form and becomes the practical one. Theo is always defending your creative side. On bigger teams, each person gets stuck in a persona and the conversation shrinks. So, again, try to build a team of 3 to 5 people for the best dynamics and most innovative input. And just one extra large pizza will do for team sessions, and that is always a plus. Team roles and rules. First of all, keep it simple. The team's focus is on supporting an effective life design, no more and no less. The team members are not your therapist, your financial advisor, or your spiritual guru. They are your co creators in your life design. The only role that really needs to be defined is that of the team facilitator, the person who organizes when you get together and what you do when you meet. Usually, that is you. It is best if you drive the scheduling and communications. That way, you can be sure the team is on track and not doing too much or too little. But you may ask another member to actually facilitate the meetings, or you may pass that role around. It doesn't really matter. As long as someone is always keeping an eye on the clock, the agenda, and the conversation. That last part, the conversation, is the most important. The role is to be a facilitator, not a boss or a referee or a leader. You don't need any of those. You just want someone to participate in the conversation and also attend to how it is going, making sure that everyone is heard from and the key ideas and suggestions are not lost in the noise. And helping the team determine which path to follow when multiple issues or considerations present themselves at once, which happens a lot. As far as rules go, we use just four in our Stanford teams, which we call sections. Keep it. Yeah, Mansi, you want to continue from here?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Some from this keep it, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Keep it respectful, confidential, participative, no holding back, generative, constructive, not skeptical or judging, calling all mentors. Mentors play a very special role in your life design community or team. Not everyone reading this book has had access to a good mentoring experience, but some of you have, and we urge everyone to try to find it. Your life design effort will be greatly enhanced if you have got a few mentors participating with you. Mentoring has become popular in recent years, and here are a few things we have discovered about mentoring that have been most helpful to our students and clients. Counsel and advice. We make a clear distinction between counsel and advice. Counsel is when someone is trying to help you figure out what you think. Advice is when someone is telling you what he or she thinks. Fortunately, there's a very easy way to tell when you are getting advice rather than counsel. When someone says, well, if I were you, I would blah blah blah, anytime you hear, if I were you, you're getting advice. When someone says, if I were you, what he really means is, if you were me. See, that's the point of advice. Telling you to do in your life what the advisor would do in your situation. Well, that's great if you happen to be identical to the person giving the advice. If you are a genetic twin, go for it. Otherwise, we seldom find ourselves advising people who are just like us. Advice is fine to get. You just want to be very careful about actually taking it. If you're getting advice, try to find out the advisor's values and priorities and point of view, and what key experiences inform the evolution of her conviction about that advice. We know an ER doctor who empathetically advises anyone, don't ever ride a motorcycle. You'll just become an good organ donor. From a person who sees lots of motorcycle accidents victims come to her ER and too many of them dead of brain injuries, that's very understandable and rational advice. But we also know a fine artist on the East Coast whose inspiration for his very successful oil paintings have all come from his up close encounters while motorcycling around the country for 30 to 100,000 miles a year for 30 years. He's convinced that the best way to see the world and meet the people in it is from the back of a motorcycle, an old school flathead Harley Davidson preferably. They're both right. Motorcycles are much more dangerous than cars. Motorcycling is a great way to see the countryside and meet people. Both are true. What's important is, how does that advice relate to you? Good advice comes from people who have indisputable expertise. You want an expert to advise you on filling your taxes, or whether you should have surgery or just physical therapy for that bum knee. There is no expert advisor for your life. People will sometimes say, I got bad advice. That's probably not true. They just got good advice that did fit. Lots of people will be ready to give you advice on your life. Be very careful about that. Counsel is entirely different. Counsel is always helpful. You can never be too clear on your own thinking. You can never get too good a grasp of your own best wisdom and insights. Finding someone who can give you good counsel and who regularly leaves you in a clearer and more settled state of mind is a great asset. This is where good mentors shine. We would say that all legitimate mentoring is centered on giving counsel. Counsel invariably begins with lots of questions aimed at accurately understanding you, what you're saying, and what you're going through. Good counselors will often seem to ask the same question a couple of times from different points of view to be sure they are getting it. They will often try to summarize or restate something you have said and ask, did I get that right? This approach tells you that they are focused on you, not on themselves. The value of mentors' life experience when they are giving counsel lies not in borrowing what facts or answers they know, but in accessing the breadth of their experience and their objectivity, which helps them to help you see your own reality in a new way. Good mentors spend most of their time listening, then offering possible reframing of your situation that allow you to have new ideas and come up with the answers that will work for you. Of course, this is just our advice. Discernment. We walked about discernment. We talked about discernment in chapter 9 when we discuss making good decisions by employing multiple ways of knowing. Mentors can make a particularly valuable contribution to your discernment process when it's time to make choices. Anjali, you want to take from here?
Yeah, it's
Be-
okay, Mansi. You want to continue? Continue.
no, I did not realize this is a long topic. I thought it's 2 lines, so I just continued. But you take it from here.
Okay. Yeah. Important decisions are seldom easy, and there are lots of competing issues and trade offs considerations that conspire to make it awfully noisy in your head. When you have got a noisy brain, that's a great time to connect with a mentor who can counsel you. The mentor can listen to you dump out all the stuff going on inside you and help you to make sense of it all, sorting it into the big stuff, the small stuff, and the irrelevant stuff. A good mentor will do this with some care and even some trepidations. Sorting and prioritizing issues often comes very close to pointing someone towards a preferred choice. A good mentor will resist telling you what to do or will at least be explicitly cautious about the risk of over influencing you. She might say, well, look, I'm really not trying to tell you that I think the right thing is to take that promotion and move to Beijing for a year, but I do notice that every time you talk about China, you light up and you smile. Have you noticed that? If so, you probably should just take a look at that. I'm not saying go to China, I just think there's something there worth noticing. The long view and the local view. Mentors come in lot of forms. Some people are fortunate enough to find a lifelong mentor, someone who really cares about their lives and is committed to walking with them throughout their journey for years and years. But that's not the only kind of valuable mentor. You can find topical mentors, parenting, finances, spirituality, etc. And you can find ad hoc or seasonal mentors, getting through the pregnancy, handling your first managerial role, dealing with elderly parents, moving to Costa Rica. There really are no rules here. Just be on the lookout for people who can provide mentoring assistance to you. Now, you are probably wondering where you are going to find all these great mentors. If you are not, then skip this part. You are one of the lucky ones who are well stocked with mentors. We suggest that there are many more people capable of giving good mentoring than there are good mentors. Lots of people with significant life experience and the willingness to listen and provide counsel, not just advice, are out there, but many of them don't think of themselves as mentors or aren't skilled in the practice of a mentoring conversation. It's not that these people aren't mentors, they are just not what we call master mentors. This is where being a good mentor comes in. Mentee comes in, sorry. This is where being a good mentee comes in. You don't need 100% master mentors. Sure, master mentors are great, and if you have got some, hang on to them. But all you really need are mentor capable people who from whom you can extract a mentor contribution. It's surprisingly easy to do. You just have to be the initiator. When you identify someone who can think you serve you as a mentor, find a way to spend some time with the person and direct the conversation to the area in which you want help. Specifically, ask him not so much to tell you what he would do as to use his insights and experience to try to help you sort out your own thinking. Hey Harold, I really appreciate the way you and Lucy have raised your kids. And frankly, this whole father thing scares the heck out of me. Could I buy you a cup of coffee just to hear some of your stories about that sometime? Of course, will say yes, and yes, this approach is strikingly similar to how we set up a prototype conversation in chapter 6. When you get together, after you have Harold tell you some of the endearing and some of the scary fathering moments he recalls, you just ask, I wonder if you could do this for me. I have got a situation brewing with Skippy and Lucy, and I are kind of flummoxed about it flummoxed about it. What if I think Skippy is pretty different from any of your and Lucy's kids? I think Skippy is pretty different. Uh, I think Skippy is pretty different from any of your and Lucy's kids, but you have got a practiced fathers here, and maybe you could help me sort out the majors from the minors of what we are dealing with here. That may be a different role from anything Harold is used to, but he will give it his best shot and probably do pretty well. If he veers into advice, just listen respectfully and come back to the request. He will probably get it. If he doesn't, nothing lost and you can try someone else. This way, you can build your own stable of mentors without having to wait for one of the master mentors to appear on the horizon. Beyond team to community. If you are Like most of the people we have worked with, you will find the time you spend with your life design team and collaborators to be pretty stimulating and life giving. The kind of support and sincere and respectful listening that we are hoping you are experiencing as you do this are pretty habit forming. There is something incredibly special about being a part of a community. It's how humans are supposed to live. Community is more than just sharing resources or hanging out now and then. It's showing up and investing in the ongoing creation of one another's lives. Being in that kind of community is a great way to live, and we highly recommend it as an ongoing practice, not just when making big plans or starting new things. Identifying what sustaining practices will help keep you growing and enjoying your well designed life is an important part of the formula, and community is an important piece. So, what exactly do we mean by a community when we are talking about an ongoing experience, not just your ad hoc life design team? Once upon a time, a majority of people found themselves organically located in a community. They were raised in a church or a faith tradition. They were part of a large extended family that actively gathered regularly and in particular ways. They may have been participants in a career such as the military or an avocation such as rock climbing that brought a community with it. But today, most people do not have a ready made community, a place to return to regularly when they can have this kind of life conversation. To find a community as we intended, you are looking for a group of people that shares most of the following attributes. First, kindred purpose. Healthy communities are about something, not just getting together to get together. Dave's community exists to become people of greater integrity in living out their faith in all aspects of their lives. Bill's community gathers to support one another in becoming better fathers and more authentic men. The most effective communities have an explicit mission that keeps them directed and moving. It's just much easier to keep moving if you are moving towards something. Both Bill's and Dave's communities veer into all manner of other stuff, social activities, recreational events, and the like, but there is always that North Star pulling them back to why we are here. Meets regularly, whether at the same time every week or month or quarter or not, the community must meet regularly. It must gather frequently enough to sustain a consistent, ongoing conversation in which the members can pick up where they left off last time without starting all over again and again. The real intention here is that participation in the community becomes a practice in and of itself. The community isn't just gathering for the ad hoc purpose of getting a project done or finishing reading the book together. It gathers because its participants agree that a life lived in a community supported way is a better designed life and they stick with it. Neither of us could have ended up in the lives we now live had it not been for the ongoing practice of this kind of community. Anybody wants to take from here? Couldn't see any name. Okay, I'll continue. Please write the
Please
name.
continue. I'll take over after that. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Mincy. Shared ground. If possible, in addition to a kindred purpose, it's helpful to have other shared ground. This is usually in the form of values or point of view. In Bill's dad's discussion group, most of the guys share the hope of being better dads than they had themselves. They are committed to total honesty. There is no BS rule. But they all are willing to try new things and do the work, including trying crazy exercises such as asking someone to play dead and then talking about him as if they were at the funeral. As long as you are alive, it's not that too late to revise the potential content of your eulogy. To each member listens and can then decide if he likes who he has become or not. This explicit shared group ground keeps the group together, keeps the conversation going, and acts as a means of establishing priorities and meditating issues as the group journeys together. Even though no more than a shared affection, getting along well, and a willingness to participate may be enough to get started, we have seldom seen that be enough to hold people together for a long haul, to know and be known. Some groups are all about the content or the process, and some groups are all about the people. We are talking about a community that's at least in large part about the people. You can be in a really great book club where people do the reading and show up prepared and have thoughtful discussions on writing, narrative, and the state of civil society, plus a little wine tasting on the side, and you all really like one another, and it's great. But that's not a community as we mean it. It really is great. Don't get us wrong. It has a purpose, informed book discussions. It has shared ground. Reading novels makes us more interesting, thoughtful, and open minded. And it meets regularly, first Tuesday of the month. But we aren't engaged in one another's lives, and we don't actually have to know one another at all to make the community work. That great book club would not likely be a place to have this conversation. A community doesn't have to be made up entirely of intimates, but there should be some level of personal disclosure about what each person is up to and how it's going. What makes an effective community is not having people in it with the right expertise or information. What makes it work is people with the right intention and presence. It is most helpful to be with people who are trying to connect the dots and live in coherence with themselves and the world in an honest way. Being around a dentist who is doing a sincere job of turning into her best self is more encouraging and impactful, despite your being totally uninterested in dentistry, than being in community with someone who has exactly the same interests and career aspirations as you, but who isn't being sincerely present and engaging honestly with his hopes and struggles. You don't need everyone to strip emotionally naked, but you want a group in which you are going to be known and you are going to know others at a level where you feel like you are all in this together. Here is a way to test when you what you mean. Think of the different groups you have participated in over the years. You can probably think of groups in which the people are talking about ideas about their lives, and groups in which the people are actually talking about their lives. It's the difference between commentators and participants. It's a community of participants that you are looking for. Our hope for this book is that it will help you find a or create such a community. By all means, read it at your next book club, but then find those who are willing to go on this journey with you. Life design is a journey, and it's really not as much fun to travel alone. For now, we want you to know that we consider you part of our team and invite you to be a part of our community. Find out how to do that here. The website's name, and with that, we end the chapter. Okay. Maniselvi, you want to take from here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Try stuff. Building a team. Make a list of 3 to 5 people who might be a part of your life design team. Think of your supporters, your intimates, your mentors, or possible mentors. Ideally, these will be 3 to 5 people also actively engaged in designing their lives. Make sure everyone has a copy of this book or buy books for everyone. So all the members of your team understand how life design works and have reviewed the team roles and rules. Agree to meet regularly and actively to co-create a well-designed life as a community. Conclusion. A well-designed life. What does a well-designed and balanced life look like? Imagine a day cut into perfectly equal pieces of pie, one slice for career, one slice for play and fun, one slice for family and friends, one slice for health. What is your perfect pie? We all know the areas of our lives that are in need of a little more time and effort and could benefit from a little more design thinking and a little less worry, rumination, and should have, would have, could have thinking. Now, how much of your day today did you actually spend having some fun, advancing your career, nurturing your relationships, taking care of your health, prototyping what's next? What does your pie really look like? Let us tell you a little secret. There is no perfect pie. It is virtually impossible on any given day to devote yourself equally to all the areas of your life that are important to you. Balance happens over time. Life design happens over time. Bill Gates, the world's richest man as of 2015, did not get the way by having work or love balance on any given day. When he launched Microsoft Windows in 1985 and took the company public in 1986, no one would have called him a philanthropist doing good in the world. And it's so also probably safe to say that back in 1998, he wasn't spending an equal part of his day nurturing relationships and an equal part defending government charges against him for abusing monopoly power. Balance is a myth, and it causes a lot of grief and heartache for most of us. As we said earlier, we don't fight reality, and living in reality means looking at and accepting what you are right now. Life design is really about being able to answer the question how it's going. It is possible to design your life in such a way that when those closest to you are giving your eulogy, they will say, overall, he had a pretty evenly sliced pie. Okay, so maybe you don't want someone to say exactly that in your eulogy, but you get the idea. We know we don't want someone to stand up at our funerals and say Dave had good written and verbal communication skills. Or Bill really demonstrated the ability to juggle competing priorities and move quickly. Life is about more than a paycheck and job performance. We all want to know we matter to someone. We all want to know our work contributed to the world. We all want to know we loved and we lived the best we could with as much purpose and meaning as possible, and that we had a pretty fun time doing it. And you only understand that in retrospect because a well designed life isn't a noun, it's a verb. Technically, it's a noun phrase, but you know what we mean. Dysfunctional belief. I finished designing my life, the hard work is done, and everything will be great. Reframe. You never finish designing your life. Life is joyous and never ending design project of building your own way forward. Some of you are reading this book to improve your life. That's already pretty okay. Others are reading this book as part of a significant transition that you have either intended or that reality has thrust upon you. You have important plans to execute, you have choices to make, and once you do that, your life will be quite different from what it used to be. In that sense, your new design will be in place and the old design will be behind you. And that shift is indeed a big deal. You can really feel it, but your life designing is not over. So, if wayfinding is how you find your way into the life design you want to live, then it's also the way to live it. Just keep building your way forward. Design isn't just a technique to address problems and projects, it's a way of living. One of the reasons that design thinking has worked so well in our designing your life classes and consulting is that it's so human. In 1963, when Stanford first began teaching design, it was with the unique approach of conceiving human-centered design. At the time, this was a significant departure from classical design methodologies which were skill-centered or art-centered or engineering-centered or manufacturing-centered, and the early work that went into developing the Stanford design methodology did a very good job of keeping humanness at the center of things and getting the humanity part right. Since your life is a decidedly human enterprise, it makes sense that human-centered design applies well. Further, in life design, we only take on the question of how to design your life, not what life you should live, or why life is better than another. Our friend Tim graduated from college with a degree in electrical engineering and went to work in Silicon Valley. His first job was in a fast-paced, just gone public startup where he was designing cutting-edge microprocessors. However, after his first design project got cancelled, Tim re-evaluated all those long nights and weekends and came to the conclusion that work was not going to be the main focus of his life. He valued play and love much more and realized that he needed to make some changes. He switched jobs to a more mature company, rose to a comfortable senior position, and then just stayed there. He's been in that role for almost 20 years, having become very well respected as a technical guru in his firm, and has turned down promotions and the money that comes with one again and again. You have to make enough money to pay the bills and have the things you need, says Tim. In his case, this means supporting his family, making sure his kids have great access to great education, and having a nice house in Berkeley. After that, what's the point? I would rather have more fun and more friends. Money, promotions, and more responsibilities do not motivate me. The point of having a good life is to be happy, not to work. Tim's design is working, and he is one of the most balanced guys we know. He is a great dad and the center of a vibrant social life, has lots of friends, plays music almost every week, has his own cocktail blog on which he promotes his cocktail inventions, reads a lot, and is one of the happiest person you will ever meet. His health, work, play, love dashboard is full of green lights, and he plans to keep it that way. And he's a great example of a well thought out life design strategy in which work isn't the most important thing. Disrupting life. Some of the refrains we have offered may be disruptive. Unlearning things is often harder and more important than learning things. But we'll wager that none of what you have learned or unlearned in your sojourn through this book with us, as disruptive or obvious or upsetting or enlightening as it might be, will actually turn you into a different person. We anticipate that it will just make you more like you. This is what good design always does. It releases the best of what you already there waiting to be found and revealed. Since the foundation of our design methodology is and always has been an explicitly human process that is applied iteratively, it stands to reason that it offers not only an innovative approach to conceiving the life you want, but a way to go about living it as well. Which brings us back to the 5 mindsets. We introduced the idea of life design in this book by telling you 5 simple things you need to do. Be curious, curiosity, try stuff, bias to action, reframe problems, reframing, know it's a process, awareness, and fifth, ask for help, radical collaboration. We have reminded you of these mindsets throughout the books as we have walked through the various ideas and tools that constitute life design. You can apply some of the 5 mindsets virtually anywhere and any given day. The opportunities to live into being curious or to try stuff are endless. We run an exercise in our classes called Designing Your Way Forward, in which we have our students identify 2 to 3 things in their life design project that they are stuck on, things that are going nowhere fast. We then ask them to ideate for 4 minutes on that stuck problem with 2 other students who will help them apply any one of the 5 mindsets as a way to get unstuck. How can be curious help you overcome the fear of talking to the Nobel Prize winning professor who teaches your class? Well, you could ask 3 other students who met with her what they talked about and how it went. See if she talks about her own college experience anywhere in some article or interview, and if her 20-year-old self shares anything with yours. Find out if she's ever failed miserably at some projects and what they were if so, to make her seem more human and less scary, and so on. When we do this, it turns out that applying any of the mindsets can help you get unstuck and take some progressive next steps. The same is true for the well-lived life you are now trying to engage. There are some reminders for each of the mindsets. Be curious. There's something interesting about everything. Endless curiosity is key to a well-designed life. Nothing is boring to everyone, even doing taxes or washing the dishes. What would someone who's interested in this want to know? How does it work? Why do they do it that way? How did they used to do it? What do experts in this field argue about and why? What's the most interesting thing going on here? What don't I get about what's happening here? How could I find out? Try stuff. With a bias to action, there is no more being stuck, no more worrying, analyzing, pondering, or solving your way through life. Just do it. How can we try this before the day is out? What would we like to know more about? What can I do that will answer that? What sorts of things are actionable? And if we tried them, what might we learn? Reframe problems. Reframing is a change in perspective, and almost any design problem can use a perspective switch. What perspective do I actually have? Where am I now coming from? What other perspectives could other people have? Name them and then describe the problem from their perspective, not yours. Re-describe your problem using some of the following reframe lenses. Your problem is actually very small, very easy to fix, an opportunity more than a problem. Something you can just skip entirely, something you actually don't understand at all yet. Not your problem, and how will it look a year later? No, it's a process. Awareness of the process means you don't get frustrated or lost, you don't even ever give up. What are all the steps behind you and in front of you that you can imagine? Is what is what's on your mind actually germane to the step you are on now? Are you on the right step or are you ahead or behind yourself? What happens if you don't think more than one step ahead? What's the worst thing that can happen? How likely is it to happen and what would you do if it did? What's the best thing that can happen? Write down all the questions, worries, ideas, and hopes that you have, and then ask yourself if you know what to do next. Does it feel different now? Ask for help. Radical collaboration means that you aren't alone in the process. Find a supporter you can talk to about what you are in the midst of right now. Tell this person your situation for 5 minutes and ask for 5 minutes of feedback and discussion. How do you feel now? Regardless of what your supporter said, just talking to someone other than yourself. There are lots of ways to get collaboration started. Build a team, create a community who are all the different groups and constituencies involved in what you are working on. Are you connected to and in conversation with all of them? If not, get going. Keep an ask for help journal in which you jot down the questions you want help on and keep it handy. Each week, identify some people who can help you with some of the journal entries and reach out to them. Journal answers and results from your helpers. Find a mentor, call your mother, she would love it. You know she would. If you try to keep the mindsets as an active orientation to how you are living and use them as part of your life design implementation as well as part of your innovation process, you will very quickly get the hang of it. It's a simple list and it takes almost no effort to bring these mindsets to the forefront of your thinking and see if they can serve you. In short order, you will find a natural organic adoption of the mindsets as part of your own way. Just two more things. Beyond the 5 mindsets, there are two more things that you particularly want to pay attention to in living your well-designed life. Your compass and your practices. Your compass is about those great big organizing ideas of your worldview and life view. These, along with your values, provide the foundation of your answers to how it's going. They inform you if you are in the good track for you or are out of sync with yourself. They determine if you are living a coherent life in which you have got who you are, what you believe, and what you are doing in adequate alignment. When we talk to our students 2, 3, 5, or more years after they have graduated and left our class, they say that the compass is one of the exercises they keep coming back to. Most of us find that our primary views on these questions stay fairly constant, but the specifics and the nuances and the priorities do change, and it's very helpful to stay on top of that. The best way to know what you really think and value about the big questions of life is to ask yourself and see what you have to say. We urge you to revisit your compass at least annually and recalibrate it. This will help you revitalize the creation of meaning in your life. Perhaps the most important recommendation we can give you to sustain a well-designed life is to invest in and commit to some personal practices of the variety as described in Chapter 9. In our own lives, both of us would say that our personal growth in this area, the refinement and disciplined participation in practices, has been the single most life-giving thing we have done. Even though appreciation of the value of such practices, such as yoga, meditation, poetry reading, writing, prayer, etc., is gaining ground, this remains an area of great weakness, especially in modern society. Traditional Eastern cultures are better at it, but frankly, almost no modern cultures excel here. The good news is that even a small effort can bring great results. By educating your emotions and maturing your discernment through such practices, you stand to reap great benefits that are accessible on an almost daily basis. For example, Bill is nourished by a morning meditation done while shaving and the daily affirmation he referred to on his health dashboard. I live in the best of all possible worlds. Everything I do, I choose to do. And then he recounts in his mind everything in front of him that day, reminds himself that all those things are things he put there, and then he re-chooses them before entering the day. He also now dedicates significant time each week to painting and drawing to animate his creative brain and experience the pure joy of it. And he makes at least one complex, if not gourmet meal a day to do something creative that others can share in. Dave works Dave works to spend 20 minutes a day in silent meditation, technically centering prayer, to recenter himself in the love of God. He also now reads poetry at least once a week, trying to learn how to feel the poem in his body, not just read it in his head. He relies on his erudite wife Claudia to curate his poetry assignments since he cleverly designed a marriage with a much smarter spouse. And he forgoes the speed and thrill of road cycling as exercise once a week to walk in the hills for at least 4 miles with Claudia and the dogs to slow things down and see nature more intimately. These are some of the things we do, but we hope you will build and prototype your own set of practices to find what works for you and helps to live your own well designed life. So, how's it going? At the beginning of this book, we introduce you to Ellen, who liked rocks, Janine, the misplaced lawyer, and Donald, the lost manager. How did life design change the way they used to answer the difficult question, how's it going, into the way they answer it now? Ellen knew she didn't want to be a geologist, but she knew that she loved some parts of what she learned in school, especially the organizing and cataloging that come with being a geologist. And she still liked rocks, especially the fine gems used in jewelry. So she decided to get good at being lucky and started life design interviewing. She discovered that project management jobs require people who excel at organizing and categorizing tasks and people. That felt like a fit to her. After a few more interviews, she networked her way to a startup that was doing, among other things, online jewelry auctions. Her love of rocks and her natural organizational talent came through in the conversations, and her curiosity about the company really stood out. The life design interview quickly turned into a job interview. 2 years and several promotions later, she is now the account manager for everything the company does in their high fashion auction business. Janine really worked on her compass and developed personal practices that helped her to recognize and trust her own inner voice. She found journaling life giving and eventually recognized that the reason journaling had become so important to her was that is a writer, a poet actually. After she had been working on her writing on the side of for time, she and her husband decided it was time for her to go for it. And she entered an MFA poetry graduate program. She has now begun a new and frugal life as a speaker, writer, and poet. Donald used the mindset of curiosity to reframe his complaint. Why the hell am I doing this? Into a new question. What is so interesting around there that it keeps all these people coming back to this company day after day. He followed the question into lots of live design interviews with his colleagues, looking for the ones who really enjoying themselves and had figured out just what the hell they were doing there. When he combined his insights from those stories with the results from his good time journal, the pattern was clear. The way he re energized was to refocus on the people. He discovered that he wasn't in the wrong place, he was just in the wrong state of mind. He had gotten so preoccupied with the what and how of business success and family responsibilities that he had completely forgotten the why and the who. He reinvented himself without having to change anything about his situation, reframing his work from getting the job done to creating a dynamic culture where my employees love their work was transformative. Neither Elon, Janine, or Donald, nor Clara, Elise, Kurt, Chung, or anyone used all the tools, but they all took up the challenge, got unstuck, and built their way forward. We are grateful to have known them and to have been a small part of their lives. We know that writing a book called Designing Your Life gives each of us the opportunities to either a living example of how this stuff works or a big hypocrite. We each put these ideas and tools to work on a daily basis, and we are constantly prototyping new exercises, new ways of thinking, new ways of living into a well designed life. We have shared with you some of our daily practices and encourage you to go to our website for a complete list of daily practices you might like to try. Our lives are constantly evolving from engineers to consultants to teachers to authors, and with each step of the journey, we are constantly grateful and perpetually curious to see what our well designed life will look like next. Throughout this book, we have shared with you the stories of many people we have worked with and gotten to know along the way. Though not everyone is living the dream, we can say with an informed confidence that every one of our collaborators who has put into practice at least some, if not all, of these tools and ideas has made real progress in ways none of them have experienced before. We have enjoyed a long and radical collaboration with each other and with thousands of students and clients who have embarked on the journey of life designed with us. And we look forward to collaborating with you. We hope you will let us know how it's going, but more important, we hope you are able to answer how it going, satisfying for yourself. Life design is ultimately a way of life that will transform how you look at your life and how you live your life. The end result of well-designed life is a life well lived. And really, is there anything more we could hope for? So with this, we come to the end of the book. Yeah. So let's reflect back and see what we liked from today's reading. Yeah. I think the last chapter was more of a summary of the key things, and it was like closing the open points that had been there in the initial chapters, your examples that were given, and it was a good way of closing with an optimistic thing that how's it really for you now and how you really want it to be. Yeah, Suman, I think you would like to share. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, it was really wonderful learning uh, from this book. Various takeaways are there. First of all, that life design is a process. It's not one end thing. Throughout the life we are here on this earth, we have to work on that. We have to live that. And one it was one more eye-opening thing was there. The writer differentiated between counseling and advice. That counseling is good, but we must be mindful that when we go to our mentors, whether they are counseling us or giving advices, because advice is subjective, whereas counseling is objective, and the counselor should not be over influencer or should not be over advising, and they should help in discerning the decisions only. And one more line that I liked a lot, that was that when we are on our deathbed or in eulogy, that what matter to us is not what talents we have. It is not, there are no judges to discuss that one person was good in communication skills or that talent that person had. But the thing that matters is how they mattered to the world, what difference they could bring. And the five tools, they are also very profound. I hope that I might be using in designing my life. Those five tools, along with the practices of meditations, which help us in educating our emotions and maturing the decisions. Yes, thank you, Manasvi and all. It was wonderful.
Yeah, thanks, Suman, for starting up the discussion with such a a precise summary of what we discussed today. Yeah, anyone else would like to add? Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Suman, can you brief what are those 5 tools? I joined late.
Yes, these one was that we should be curious. Manisalvi, you can tell more better if you could please. Yes, are you there, Manisalvi?
Manisalvi?
Yeah, just a moment, just a moment.
Can I tell those 5?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. First one is be curious. Second one is try stuffs. Third one is reframe problems. Fourth one is know it's a process. And fifth one is ask for help.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're just mentioned in the last chapter we read right now. Like they're just there, sir. So if you just go through that chapter, you'll find them easily. And they're described also. They're elaborated a little bit.
Great,
It's like a
great.
summarizing of the concepts from the book, like a key takeaways types.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyone wants to share something?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
Anjali.
just a short summary. So actually, yes, what we read today was quite a rereading of the book sort of thing, a summarization. And the thing I liked is the life design is not a just one-time project. It's a daily project, like making a pie daily, baking a pie and cutting into 5 equal parts, and those parts are to be equal because work, career, family, friend, health, everything matters. Even play is a part of that. So we have to divide it into equal parts, and everything is important since designing is not just if we are focusing just one goal, because somewhere we also have to think that we are living many lives in this just one life. So with those things in thought that we have to live another life today, this one day itself is a moment where we can live another life. We have to design it daily, and that is a daily project. It should be kept in mind, and few things which we have to consider, that is a compass and the practices, because compass is how we are navigating, how we are really moving ahead, we are really growing, or we are just stuck somewhere. That is the indicator. Second thing is the daily practices which are to be taken care of, because those are which keeps us disciplined. It is very important to have a disciplined routine. Without that, we cannot achieve anything. So that really matters, that continuous practice and compass, along with those 5 things, that trying stuff and curiosity, all those it's really important. And one more thing I really loved was the community of mentors. And since the author had quoted the example of the reading club, I was very much enjoying the reading, that here also in a group where we are discussing our personal life, or we are talking about our takeaways, our insights. This is a group, no, we get so much, and even if we are not discussing our personal life, we are getting ideas out of this. So I really could relate it how beautifully he has given the example of reading club, because it is generally reading is taking insights from the books, but when we are discussing and we are talking about the book after this reading, so it is another great session, and it is a profound one. So we should have a community, plus we should definitely have a personal space with some people where we can share anything without any hesitation. And that community should have the critics and the advisors or the counselors all. So that is built on the trust, and that is built on a continuous interaction. That is very important for a healthy mind. And definitely they would be a mentor for the life design, for to achieve the goal whatever we are looking ahead for. And in a stuck situation, they are the best counselors. So that community really matters a lot. And thank you so much for this beautiful community. Mansi, Maniselvi, thank you so much. That's all.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Anjali. Anyone else would like to add? Please go ahead.
yeah, I want to. So even I could connect with that reading example. It just made me smile, and that is what we're trying to build over here. Actually, like it's not. We want to go beyond this reading, only reading together. So some, because we are doing it so much that somehow the community is just being considered as a reading this thing, but we somewhere want to go beyond it, and we need to build that connections. And I think that's a process. And even we tried doing a part of it this year, but somewhere we messed up some in some things, and we also realized there are some um, other ways we need to do things differently, so that we are able to thrive as a community. It's because when what happens is, what I've realized is, it is as they have said, right? I was just taking the summary, and as I'm just reading through, it is basically it is a combination of leaders, supporters, and all of that. Like it cannot be like if everyone just wants to lead, or if anyone no one is willing to lead or anything. Like it has to be a have a complete balance. And I even like that part of it where it mentioned that a team a radical collaboration, where a team has to be of not two people or nor more than six people. So that was very profound, because I felt that is very ideal, and we experienced that during the workshop also. So we were made to divide into teams, and the teams kept changing, in fact. So so it has to be a team of three or
Mansi, sorry
six.
to interrupt. We read this in that Surrounded by Idiots also, that all four
Ah,
color people are should be they form the best team.
yeah, because the difference among each other, that helps think beyond your own capacity of thinking, right? Like, or mindset. It helps you. It opens up more doorways to you. So that was beautiful. I love this idea, and we would want to work upon this, building a community like this going forward. Let's see how it evolves. But yeah, this was a beautiful reading. I love this chapter overall. And I loved how they have summarized everything in the conclusion, like taking all the key takeaways. I just missed, like there are many tools that are introduced in the workshop that they have not even discussed in these chapters, is what I've realized. Like it's maybe because this is just like more of an explanation, or more of like making people convinced of the concept. And the whole essence of the book for me, what I realized is, it's about embracing our multiple identities that are within us. So I feel we all the last part where they mentioned, like we are constantly designing and evolving. So we are engineers, then we are something something, and then we are authors, and so we are exploring, right? And at least for myself, I realized that my dad always used to say low M is crime. And he always used to, I remember when I had just went for a job which was out of my current education, what I was pursuing then, commercial art. So he had taken me left and right, and he was like, no, you cannot go try something else. You have to go deeper into what you have done and all of that. But somewhere I feel we have this desire to explore things, and I feel this book beautifully explains and teaches us to embrace all sides of our personalities. So I think that is the uh, like crisp and the core of the book, which I particularly got connected with most. And I'm loving it. Basically, I would definitely want to even go back to it personally and take some notes, work some things out, and yeah, I could relate a lot of things totally. Thank you for taking this up, Mani Selvi, and thank you for encouraging me to be a part of this. And we are doing it together, so I'm so happy. Otherwise, maybe I would have had some resistance into taking it up. I was having it, in fact, but thanks for your initiative that you made it happen. So yeah, we are finally done with the book, and nicely concluded, in fact. So yeah, Anyone else wants to add something, please?
Yeah, can I go?
Please go.
Yeah, coming to the topics, I would take three personal lessons, more of an eye opener, because when I discuss about meeting a person or having to pitch in, I always thought in a professional way or in a way that helped me understand. But this book has helped me understand one thing, that we can pitch in for anything about motherhood, about any new activity, about drawing or something, because that itself is a again we'll have some kind of resistance, we'll have some kind of insecurities to pitch in on some topics which are quite personal and everything. I think this book made me realize that yes, we can do that as well. Rather than putting everything on internet, we can actually, seek out for mentors. And again, related to it, the second point, that is that the answer is always present. So how do we get the right answers from the right people is in our hands. So when we say mentors, when we say we need some kind of suggestions, we always go to the right persons, and that uh, anybody can be that kind of mentor. And for anything, we can seek advice or we can seek counseling for. And on that point, I never differentiated counseling and advice. But rather than giving, we can also see in the other hand that the person is advising us or counseling us. So I can see the difference, because most of the people, uh, they will come to a point that if I was in your place, then we'll get the whole new advice there. But counseling is something that help us where we stand. So I could able to understand the difference, and while seeking or while giving, I'll be sure of what kind of words that people are getting from me, and also I can analyze what kind of words that I am getting in. So those are my three takeaways from this book. Thank you, Maniselvi, and thank you, Mansi, for such a wonderful read.
Thank you, Pravina, for your 3 pointers. Great way of connecting what you can apply in life directly. So thanks for that. Yeah, anyone else would like to add? Okay, I think you all have already summarized whatever are the key points today very well. And just a thing I would like to add here is, yes, the first topic about a team did reflect upon the book club that we have. The way we are functioning is good, and how it actually makes it a good experience is what one can really understand from what the book also says. How we connect well, and even if we all are not intimate, we do share a common search, or we have a good platform for discussion. So I think that is where we somewhere are co-creators is what is felt, and we are helping each other knowingly or unknowingly, nudging each other to better ourselves in whatever ways possible. Yeah. So the classification of people just brings out the variety that nature offers, and everybody has a purpose. And if the purpose fits in the place where the person is there, then I think that will really help everyone. And if it's a misfit, then we also have to see where the person has to be fitted into. So basically it brings a point of how to choose better and how to approach mentors if required. Any which ways, it reflects that how normally our community are formed. We have people who help us, and we seek help, and knowingly or unknowingly, there are so many mentors that we have around. It specifically brings out a point for mentors also, and coaches, if I may say, because this is a forum where we have many coaches, aspiring coaches, or people who counsel and help others. So one point that I could note there is a word of caution that don't imprint your beliefs and your experience into the person who you are mentoring, the mentee. The mentor has to be aware of this dilution of discussion, and aware of this, and be sensitive so that the right kind of guidance is being provided to mentee. Sometimes one has to just give us gradual nudge or just listen at times for people to just open up and come out with their own solutions. So that is my experience with mentoring so far, that it's more of what the person is coming to you for. Is it just to be listened to? Is it just to be just for you to be there and just let the emotional turmoil pass, or is it just to uplift that, whether the person is looking at a perspective which is not so helpful right now to a brighter and a better perspective. So that kind of understanding one has to have, not to over influence but influence in the right manner. Also, the emphasis on life design being a journey, as life is a journey, designing also will be a continuous process and a journey in itself. The best part of this life designing your life is basically it is centered on the human approach, as it says, where they don't argue about the reality. We have to try to manage the realities that we are all in and accept ourselves as we are. And while doing that, we have to maybe we'll not be able to balance it all the time, so there will be some times of hits and some times of misses, but without judgment we have to walk forward. I think that is the key takeaway for me from this book. And thanks everyone for the group energy to to be able to actually celebrate the book at the end of the year, where I think it's a good reminder for all of us to take back and better our lives from now, not wait for the new year to come. But yeah, it's a good starting, yes, and a good way to end the year by just consolidating whatever we have learned so far and putting our best foot forward. So thank you everyone for being here and giving your time. Yes. Yeah. So can we call it a day then? Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Mani Selvi. It was a great selection of the book, and I really enjoyed reading. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
Manisa's
everyone.
selections are very beautiful. They're
Yeah.
very diving, in fact.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Maniselvi.
Maniselvi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Maniselvi, are you planning on a summary or something?
I'll take this summary, which I normally take, and I will put it.
Okay, okay, no problem. Yeah. No, no, not this. I'm asking like, are you planning it sometime in the future, like notes as you share and for this book?
No, no, that's all for this. I'm a bit
Oh,
busy after this, so I might not be able to do that session. Yeah.
okay, okay, no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I've taken the reading summary. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
taking the individual shares summary, and I'll also be done.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye
Thank you
bye.
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a rest of the
everyone.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
I've taken the summary of the shares, so I'll just leave. Maniselvi, or you want me to stay?
No, no, please leave. No problem. I'm just taking that summary of key takeaways, and I'll also.
Yeah. You wanted to connect for a call today?